So this time around we want to create a form that allows us to add or edit a movie. And I'm looking at my code right now, and if we look at our application, here's what I want to do. I'm going to add a new link here between genres and manage catalog that allows us to add a new movie. So all that has to do is to display a form. And we need to first of all create a component and a root to it. So let's get started. So back in my IDE, I will go to app.js and I'll create a new link right here. So I'll just copy this one and modify it. And I'll call this add movie. And it will link to /admin add. And down here, I'll simply create a new path right here, or a new root right here, and the path will be equal to /admin/add. And the component will be one that doesn't exist yet. And I'll call it edit movie. So let's go create that path, or that component. So in my components, I'll right click and choose new file. And I'll call that editmovie.js. And I'll use my shortcut, imrc. And I'll export a default class, editMovie, which extends component. Okay, so we'll give it some state. And in there I'll put a movie, which will initially be empty. And I'll put isLoaded, which will be false, and error, which would be null. And then we'll have a render function. So the first thing we'll do is extract our movie variable. Even though initially, when we're adding a movie, the form will be empty, we can reuse this component to edit a movie later on. So let's extract movie. And we'll extract that from the state. And we need to return something. So let's put it in a fragment. We'll wrap everything in a fragment. And let's give it a title. And we'll just call this add/edit movie. And maybe put an HR under it. And now we'll create our form. And we'll give it a method, even though we're not using this form. We're not going to submit it the normal way. We'll submit it using JavaScript. And let's put something in here. So we'll put in a div class name equals MB3, just to give it some margin, and a label for equals title, and we'll give it the class name is equal to form-label, which is Bootstrap's class, and the title will simply be title. Then we'll have an input, type equals text, class name equals form-control, so it uses Bootstrap styling. And we'll give it an ID, title, and a name, title. We'll also give it an initial value, which will be empty when we add a movie, but it won't be later on. Okay, so now if we go back to our app.js, that error should go away once we import it. And there, the error is gone now. So let's go have a look at our code and see if it works. So, add a movie. And it gives us our form control. Perfect. So let's go add the rest of our form. Back in Edit Movie, we can just copy this section and paste it in there. And the second thing will be the release date. We'll call this release date. And copy that and paste it here, and paste it here, and paste it here. And that should give us another entry on our form. Let's go make sure. There it is. Not really, I want this to be bolded. I don't like the non-bold text there. So let's just quickly come in here to components and create a new file called editmovie.css. And in that we'll have label, which I gotta spell right. And we'll give that a font weight of bold. And go back to Edit Movie and import that CSS. And that should fix that. And it does. That looks much better. Okay, so we have release date. Next comes the runtime, I believe. So we'll copy this and paste it. And this will be for run time. Copy, paste, 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 and name this runtime. Okay. And next we'll have the MPAA rating. So this will be another div. Class name will be equal to MB3, same as before. And now we'll have a label. For equals MPAA rating. And the class name will be equal to form-label. And we'll call this MPAA rating. And we'll make this one a select because we know there's only a predetermined set of values you can use. Select class name equals form-select. And we'll give it a value as well, which will allow us to have this set to the correct value when we're editing a movie. Movie.mpaa rating. And in here, we'll make the first one option class name equals form-select. And we'll just say choose. And then we'll duplicate that and give this one a value. Value equals G. And this should be G for general. Now we're also going to have PG, PG-13, R, and NC-17. So this one will be NC-17. And its value is NC-17. Then R, and R, PG-13, PG-13, and PG. So now we should have a select. Let's go make sure it looks all right. It does. That's what we want. Now our star rating, and that can just be a text input. So I'll copy this, paste it here, call this rating. And again, this will be like a 1 to 5 stars or something. And this is MPAA. No, this is rating. And copy, paste, 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 and then finally the description. Div class name equals MB3, and we'll have a label. I'll just copy this one. And this is for description. And now we want a text area. Text area, class name equals form-control, and the ID will be description, and the name will be description. And let's give it 3 rows. Rows equals 3. And we'll give it a value of movie.description. And then underneath that, we'll have an HR. Let's format the whole thing, make sure it looks good. It does. And let's put a button in here. So, button, class name equals btn primary, and we'll give it a value of, say, save. Okay, let's go see how this looks. That all looks pretty good. Now, we can also give it a component did mount function. Component did mount. And here we can just say, just to make sure this is actually going to work, this.state equals, and we'll put it in a movie, and that will have a title of The Godfather. And just to make sure the select works as well, we'll say MPAA rating is set to R. And that should say set state. And not have an equal sign. That looks better. So now when I load the form, it should have The Godfather with an MPAA rating of R. Let's see if it does. And it does. Okay, so that form actually works. And of course, because this form is a component, we can use it to add a new movie and have the form blank. And of course, we'll just get rid of the set state in the component did mount function. And we can also use it to edit an existing movie, to pull that information from the database, to extract it from our backend as JSON, and use that to populate the form so we can modify it to our heart's content. So we'll get started on that in the next lecture or two.